Well, everyone, it's janky setup time. And it's a special janky setup time, and why is that? Because today we're going to take a look at this PlayStation 3. The keen eye in you may have noticed that this has, well, actually you probably can't see because of the fact that it's kind of dark. Let's see if that helps a little bit. So you may notice the 4 USB ports. Well, again, let me reposition the lighting. You may notice the 4 USB ports, as well as the various memory card slots. And that's because this PlayStation 3 is a backwards compatible one, specifically a CECH-A01. And it has issues. I have this because of the fact a buddy asked me to take a look at his PlayStation 3. He mentioned that there's some issues with the USB ports and they're not properly detecting controllers, and that he's getting some kind of a hard drive error, which that more than likely is going to mean it's got to be replaced if it's not just not seated in there properly. But this has never been opened, at the very least. The warranty seal is still intact and everything. So what I'm going to do first is power it on, just to see what kind of errors I'm getting, plug a controller and see if I can figure that out. And if not, then we're going to go down to the basement, to my workbench, and we're going to take it apart and figure out what's going on with those USB ports. Alright, I got everything plugged in. Red light, standby light is working. So far, so good. It's booting up. That's a good sign. But no picture on screen, probably because it's not set up to use HDMI. It's probably configured for component video. Let me plug a controller in. Alright, I'm hoping that this is just going to work fine, but knowing my luck, and you see that little red triangle there. But the controller seems to be detected. Although did I accidentally goof up and hit cancel? I think I canceled the action instead of, let's turn this back off and try again. Will I get the warning screen again? There we go. Interesting. This time I did select it. Does that take a minute? I don't remember. It shouldn't. Could there be an issue with the HDMI port? Something just happened. There's definitely something coming out of the HDMI port, some sort of signal, because the display obviously detects it. But if I jiggle it, that's when I lose. Hard drive activity light is practically solid yellow. But I don't think that's why we don't have a picture. I'm pretty sure that it would just come up with an error on screen saying that it can't detect a hard drive or there's a problem or something like that. Well, let me dig up the component video cable that I've got. Well, it's for a PS2, but it should work on the PS3. And I've got one of these cheap... Oh, it just beeped at me. Hang on. Something's happening on screen. Just can't see it. Reboot again. It's possible that the error message is coming up for the hard drive, and I'm still not getting a picture out via HDMI. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to go and grab those component video cables and use this cheap component to HDMI adapter that I've got just to get it to work on this screen here. I want to see how far I can get first before I drag everything downstairs. Oh, look at that. It is actually working now. Yeah, sure, why not? Optimal settings. Well, the picture is in black and white, but it could just be the theme that was selected. Yes, 1080p. Oh, there we go. Press PS button, begin use. Getting that do not. I'm just gonna do enter then. Restoring, let's see what happens here. That explains the hard drive activity light. Now, replacing the hard drive isn't too difficult. Just remove the old one from the side, plug a USB drive into one of the USB ports with a copy of the system software, and the PlayStation will just reload itself basically. So really easy, unlike Xboxes. Alright, so far so good. Oh yeah, this hard drive is toast. Unfortunately. I mean, it's possible if I were to yank it out, plug it into a computer, and run some sort of scan on there, probably show all kinds of bad sectors and everything. I mean, this is an old drive. I believe it's probably the original 60 gig drive that this thing came with, so... what I can do is I can grab one of my spare drives, plug it in. Alright, so it's seeing a new hard drive. I'm just going to do the format, which it has to do no matter what. This isn't... oh, these are the users on here. Okay. Tons of saved users on here. I'm not familiar with the original PlayStation 3. My experience started with the Super Slim, so let's go into system settings, and what do we got? The fact that this thing still works though. So this has software 242. So it's even older than the firmware I put on the drive, but that's fine. It shows 97 gigs out of 111. That's because I have a 120 gig SSD in there. I had spare one, so I just threw it in there. So I can still update, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave what's on here. But I mean, yeah, so the hard drive is definitely toast, but the controller seems to work fine. The USB port seems to work fine. Install other OS, so you can even do the Linux, I think, on this earlier version, which I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I don't think my buddy would care one way or the other, and it is in color at the very least, so yeah, everything seems to be fine. Full range HDMI, I want full. Yeah, this is a TV computer monitor. I don't know if it does or not. We'll just leave it be. HDMI. No, we're gonna cancel out of this here. Yeah, unplug the controller from the USB port. It still works, so let me throw a game in there. I'm going to throw a PS1 game in there and see if it works, and then a PS2 game, just because I've never actually seen a PS2 game on a PS3 before. And I'm going to make sure the disk drive is working and the other functionality is there. So I'm going to put in the PlayStation 1 Interactive CD Sampler Disc Volume 5. Sure, why not? Good enough for me. Back, you know what? Let's create one for the PS2 while we're at it. And now This system's going to need a cleaning. That fan is already loud. Look how nice and sharp that looks, though. Might not be as evident on video, but yeah, this system's going to need to be cleaned up. I'm probably going to have to open it, which means I have to break the warranty seal, which I don't want to do. But it has to be done. I also want to repaste it, prevent the cell processor and all of that from overheating and potentially needing a reballing and everything. Oh, it reads PlayStation 1 just fine. Quit. Let's try PlayStation 2 next. Okay, so I put Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Collection in, and it just auto-started, I think. Kind of interesting. Maybe that's a functionality. There we go. Oh, that's right, this did come with Street Fighter 3. I forgot that I had that on there. But it seems like it's playing PS2 games just fine as well. Can that be fun? I know I created one. Oh, whatever. Yeah, PS2. Game Time Infinity. 2 rounds. Turbo 4. Fine, whatever. Probably should have set the controller options. But it's working. Yeah, so it's working, so that's pretty cool. Let me test a PS3 game out just to make sure that the Blu-ray lens is working. And for the PS3 game, I'm going to do... What did I grab here? The Genesis Collection. You must update this 2.5 or later. A little bit of an update. It's not going to hurt much. You're going to make me go through this whole thing. Sure, whatever. No, we don't want to turn it off. We want to play the game when you're done. At least it didn't take forever. Oh, no, there's the next stage. So yeah, for those of you that are new to gaming, and maybe haven't had to deal with this yet because you always did the updates over the internet, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean the PS3 era, Xbox 360 era, even the Wii. For some reason, they didn't have the current version of the software that was out at the time you bought a game. Most of the time, they would include a version of the system software on that disc so you could update it. Really great if you didn't have a good internet connection, which at the time, internet was still kind of not widespread, just especially high-speed internet. And if you lived in the rural area, well, dial-up is pretty much all you had unless you were lucky enough to get satellite, which was stupid expensive and had very high latency, so it wasn't even good for like online gameplay, especially when you're playing against other people. But for every other purpose, it's good enough. But yeah, a lot of times they just include the updates on these discs. So now let's go ahead and finish and we'll continue. All right, we're back. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. There we go, PlayStation 3 game. So it seems to read it just fine so far. Alright, it's enough of these intros. I don't care about the trophies. My God, why? No. Yes. That seems to work fine. Emulation seems to be pretty good, actually, considering how powerful the PS3 is, and it's a Sega Genesis, but... Cool, so looks like it's reading games and everything. I'm going to go ahead and let my buddy know that it's working, at least seemingly, and then see if he wants me to take it apart, repaste it, and clean it and everything. So I didn't record a proper outro for this video because at the time it was kind of up in the air what my friend wanted to do. Let him know, the situation. Hey, do you want me to open it up, clean it out, repaste it? But that obviously will also destroy the warranty seal. Or do you just want to give me an external cleaning, wipe it down, clean the vents as much as possible, and then, you can take it back and do what you want to do with it. I think that his intent is to ultimately sell it, and so he decided he didn't want to open it up because I get it, it can be a little bit scary buying something that has been opened because you don't know what was done inside, and you don't necessarily trust the person to have done the right thing. I mean, even something as simple as opening up a console to repaste it could result in, damaging a component, breaking some plastic clips, etc. So I just gave it a cleaning, and I took some photos and stuff like that of the befores and afters for him to see and everything, and I'm going to include them here. I also, at some point in the past, forget if it was a short or a TikTok or both, but I just wanted to test the PlayStation Classic controller on the PS3 using PlayStation 1 emulation, and it kind of worked. It wasn't perfect, the button mappings didn't seem to be correct, but it worked. And I don't know if because the PS3 has some sort of rudimentary support for USB controllers, or if maybe the PlayStation Classic controller reports itself as an official Sony controller, and so it just accepted it. Still kind of fun, neat to mess around with, but overall I think I did a pretty good job. It's way better shape than it originally was. Little crevices and seams and things like that were especially difficult to clean without taking it apart, but I think I did a good enough job. I did clean out all the USB ports, the HDMI port, etc. They were just gunked up with dust and not grime or anything because it doesn't smell like, anything, was spilled on it. It didn't smell like cigarette smoke. It didn't smell like vape juice or anything like that. But it was still, a little bit of a challenge. But I went ahead, I kept the hard drive in there that I had replaced it with. I did wipe it. So it was like factory default. Went through a test again. Everything seemed to be working fine. So yeah, I was impressed with it. I was happy with the results, and that's that. So cool, I got to actually play around with a backwards compatible PS3. So yeah, that's it for this one. I know nothing fancy, and I apologize for the earlier audio. It was with the older microphone, and I kept bumping into the microphone too for some reason, so it kept, creating little bumps and scratches and things like that. So I tried to edit those out as best as possible. This outro is being recorded with my new microphone, so you'll probably be a little bit of a difference in audio quality. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Otherwise, thanks all. Catch you later.